Starting off in what is maybe the longest name of any car on the market right now, the 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander SEL 2.5 S-AWC 4-door SUV. Woo! That's a lot. I swear the names of the names of cars just keep getting longer and longer. Anyway, so I've always wanted to drive Mitsubishi, and I've never had the opportunity. I remember in elementary school, one of the moms that took us in her daycare, well, not in the daycare, but in the carpool, had a Mitsubishi Montero Sport, and I thought that was so cool. A neighbor had a regular Mitsubishi Montero, and so this has been a long time coming for me. And I didn't really know what to expect because Mitsubishi, I mean, their lineup has shrunken considerably over the years. And so not knowing what to expect, getting into this with totally fresh eyes, it's been a really interesting and good experience. And the first thing, oh, there's a Bronco Raptor. That's so funny. I haven't seen one on the road yet. It's really big. Holy smokes, it's massive. Wow, it's so wide. That is crazy. So anyway, first thing getting in this is I immediately was like, this is a Nissan. And I was right. I didn't realize that the parent company that owns Nissan also has ownership in Mitsubishi. And so if you've seen or been in any of the latest Nissans, you're going to feel very comfortable and familiar with what Mitsubishi is doing here. It's the same screen, lots of the same buttons. The font is nearly the same, but like everything like looks the same. It's like the same gear shifter, drive mode selector, parking brake button, digital gauge cluster. It's like the same. Like it feels so much. This feels very close to like a Rogue / like Pathfinder Cross. It feels a little bit bigger inside than the Rogue. And I think it is a little bit, even though it's based on the Rogue platform. And this does have a third row, which I'll show you, but it's pretty much useless. I wouldn't recommend it. It's one of the tighter back seats I've seen recently, or third rows, I mean. And so not quite sure what they were thinking there, but I mean, I guess in like an extreme pinch, you could put kids back there, but it's definitely not something that you'd want to, throw kids back there all the time regularly, because they're just not going to be comfortable. But I will say, so this is this one prices out just under $38,000, and it's pretty good if you're wanting something that's just new with a great warranty. The powertrain warranty on this is 10 years or 100,000 miles, kind of like the Hyundais and Kias of today. If you're wanting something new with all of the loaded up with safety tech, wireless Apple CarPlay, digital gauge cluster that looks sharp, it looks good, nice seats, like these are pretty comfortable. The bottom cushion is a little more stiff and board-like than I would like. It's not quite as cushy. It's fairly stiff, but that said, it's a pretty comfortable ride, and it surprisingly handles well. Like it's pretty sharp, like inexplicably, like it kind of handles like it, or at least the steering feels like sharp, like it wants to be sporty, but this is like not a sporty car. I do wish the suspension was a little more compliant. You can kind of feel like where they had to not skimp, but where they had to pull back a little bit to offer all of this at a pretty good price point, especially with that long warranty. So one thing especially to keep in mind about this is it's not big on power. This is the old 2.0, and the Rogue has gotten an updated engine since anyway. This is based on the Rogue, and so the Rogue even has a new engine that's turbocharged that feels peppy. This retains a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that only produces 181 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. And so that, coupled with the CVT that's in here, can make for like a fairly, pokey driving experience with acceleration and stuff. So if you're okay with that, like I'm going to floor it here. I'm floored. There we go. With passing and things like that, like it does fine. But you'll need to really kind of put your foot in it to get the kind of responsiveness that you're probably going to need in some like acceleration and passing maneuvers, you know, merging onto the freeway. Just something to keep in mind. Something that I've also noticed that you might be interested in if you're considering buying the Outlander is that it's pretty unique. It actually gets a fair like amount of like looks from people because it's not like your everyday, you know, it's just not what you see every day. I don't see a ton of these out there, although Mitsubishi is doing pretty well with them. And so it's kind of cool. It's kind of a unique offering, you know, it has unique styling that I think actually looks pretty good. I like the front end. It almost looks like a Hyundai Palisade, but in some ways I think this looks better, at least than the first generation. And so kind of, you know, it's just kind of a cool little bonus there. Another thing to keep in mind if you're thinking of buying the Mitsubishi Outlander is the safety tech, and it's really good. I mean, this is Nissan's stuff, and Nissan, I think, does a really great job with their safety tech. I will say though that in this, for some reason, it feels more sensitive than it does in like the Nissan Rogue and some of the other SUVs I've been in from Nissan. And it's pretty sensitive, like especially with like its adaptive cruise and lane keep assist, and so it'll ping you and like buzz the steering wheel pretty frequently. You can mess around with the settings and everything like that, but just so you know, like the default kind of settings are a little more sensitive. And there's been a couple times too that's been kind of strange where I'm driving on the freeway and I've got you know, the adaptive cruise set, and you know, it keeps track of, you know, the speed limit for you, which is cool. But there's been a couple times where I've been on the freeway and it's like picked up the speed limit from surrounding roads. And so like one time it like picked up like a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit when I was on this freeway, and the speed limit was actually 70. And so it like really, you know, tried to slow me down real fast. And so just kind of keep that in mind. Like it's all good tech, but it's a little more sensitive. So there you go. Other than that, I think that this is a pretty solid offering from Mitsubishi. I think in general, bringing Nissan into that conversation as well, that company is doing good things, and it's cool to see Nissan and Mitsubishi, who, you know, even some people that I've talked at Nissan would admit that, you know, they've maybe lost their way for a little while. Well, now if you're, you know, looking at Nissan and Mitsubishi, they're starting to find their way. It's pretty cool, and they're getting back to some of those things that we, you know, especially enthusiasts really loved about Nissan and Mitsubishi back in the 90s and early 2000s. They were just doing some really cool stuff. And I can feel that here. Like the materials are nice. I love, you know, I just love it. I like the contrast of the blacks, the metals, and the browns, and I think it's pretty well designed. I think it's pretty comfortable. You know, 38 grand is like a little steep, especially considering something like the Mazda CX-5, which definitely feels smaller inside than this, but there's no question that the Mazda CX-5 is exceptional in almost every way. And given that this is about the same price as that, I think it is priced a little steep for kind of what you're getting and for the ride quality and like the low power, and it's a little loud, the suspension's a little rough and clangy, but you know, you're getting a ton of tech, you're getting really good, you're getting just some really good room and like just comfort and great fuel economy. I've been getting about 27 miles per gallon, so not like amazing, but it's pretty great. On the freeway, you know, commuting, I get around like 31, which is pretty awesome. So, you know, it's nothing to really complain about in an SUV this size. So in conclusion, well done Mitsubishi. The Outlander is a solid offering, and if you're in the market and you're kind of tired of all like the regular options that are out there, go give this thing a shot. You might end up really enjoying it, and I know that I've enjoyed my week with it. And I think it's just, again, if you're wanting just simplicity, that's pretty luxurious, lots of great safety tech, 5-star crash test ratings, and decent fuel economy, and just a great warranty where you're not going to have to worry about this thing for 10 years. It's not bad at all. So guys, thanks for liking and commenting, subscribing, all of that. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you later. See ya.